Hi, I wanted to talk about Joker 2. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying I have not watched the movie. I'm watching this movie kind of like a precursor to me actually watching the actual movie, if that makes sense. So, right now, I'm going to base this on like what everybody is saying, which is reviews ripping it apart, tearing it to shreds, and probably what went wrong. I'm not going to lie, I feel like I have got affected, or what did they say? I have been swayed almost to not watch the movie at all. Like, honestly, I kind of don't know if I even want to waste the time going there because it is really so bad from what people saying. And I kind of like, I'm one of those people, it's too many movies coming out right now. I would rather just save it for something else. You know what I mean? So I'm just kind of letting you know like what's going on into my mind, right? I don't think I've ever been swayed to not watch a movie that I wanted to watch, but I'm going to be honest. Musical Joker sounds horrible. It does not sound like something I want to go see. It does not sound like something I want to go watch. And at this point, nobody wants to go with me anymore. So I genuinely am like, yeah, I think I'm going to pass this movie. And I guess maybe that's what I'll explain why I'm going to pass the movie. The thing that I've been seeing the most that people have the biggest issue with is that they have not called this a musical, and it is in fact a musical. Now, Lady Gaga said this was not a musical, and I could see that. Like, from what people are saying, there are a lot of songs and a lot of singing, but technically it's not a musical, but technically it is. And if we have not learned one thing from Mean Girls, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and all of these other remake movies, please tell people you're doing a musical. When people don't know they're walking into a musical and it's nonstop song after song after song, they get agitated because they did not sign up for a musical. I would say a musical is one of those things where you need to let somebody know at the door. Like, before you walk in and see this movie, it's a musical, which is why I don't want to watch it because I love musicals, but certain musicals. I'm not trying to see a Joker musical. Okay, y'all can keep it. Two, from what I've been seeing, is that it's boring. People say it mainly happens in the jail and the courthouse, and that's it. It goes nowhere else, and all the action is towards the end. That's not necessarily bad, right? But also, I don't know. I feel like a courthouse and a jail cell is ways to make that more interesting. And they probably could have added more action, but maybe they were trying to be more, commentary heavy. Another issue that I saw, which I was like, why would you say that? This is one of those things you only say this like 10 years after the movie or after the movie has been so wildly successful and got so many praises, then you can say this, right? They talked about how they basically would have the script, right? Let's say we're in the day of filming. We're going to rip the script up and redo it. I don't know why you would say that. Like I said, that's something that only works if it's like 10 years later or the movie is so successful so you can be like, whoo, everybody loved it. Okay, y'all I actually put out trash. Because to me, what I hear, that does not sound good. Now granted, they said 3 hours later, they would have the script on a napkin. And once again, that's only really like a flex if it's good. From what we're seeing, it's terribly bad. The Variety article says Joaquin Phoenix, who would throw out the script on a whim and gather with Phillips and co-star Lady Gaga in his trailer to rewrite entire scenes from the ground up. And he said, quote, we'd very often meet in Joaquin's trailer, and sometimes we would just tear the script up and start all over. Gaga recently told Vanity Fair for her own cover story. It was a really cool, liberating process. Like I said, that would have worked if this movie was getting like rave reviews and it's so cool. Like, oh my God, they did it on, like, you know what I mean? I feel like it's one of those things where like you want to sound cool. And it's like, yeah, we just ripped the script up and we would just restart right there. Like, okay, I feel like you were trying to be like, I'm so crazy and deep. And it's like, it's not coming off that way at all. If anything, it's just kind of weird. And that's another thing that I saw. A lot of people were saying this was just cringe. And I feel like I can believe that because when you think of the Joker and think musical, that immediately cringe comes to mind. Like I immediately, oh my God, that's got to be cringe, right? There's a way to do things, and this was just not done correctly, if that makes sense. Like, if you ever seen like Interview with the Vampire, right? That's not a musical, but I use that as an example to say the actor who plays Lestat, he has to go full into it, right? Because if he didn't, it would probably come off cringe, right? If he didn't fully embody that character and the snapping and the screaming and things like that, it probably would have come off cringe or lame or whatever. And I feel like that's maybe the problem with this. Like, sometimes you want to be so deep, you go too far, you fall off the edge. Like, I think they probably should have just stuck with the original thing. Maybe one song, max two. Unless, like I said, unless Harley Quinn's character is like, maybe her whole character theme this time is I sing, right? Like I don't ever remember Harley Quinn being like that. And this is coming from a lone Batman fan for many years since I was a young child. Even my dad loved Batman. So from a fan perspective, I don't ever remember like Harley Quinn's thing being she sings, but I'm like, maybe in this movie, they're like, okay, her thing is going to be that, oh, she sings a lot. And she's like a singer. So maybe they added a bunch of songs like that. But even from the clips that I've seen on TikTok, it just, I don't know, it just didn't seem good. And then Lady Gaga put out the album Harlequin. And people started memeing the song where she was like, the Joker is me. It just came off kind of like cringe a bit. And I don't know why, because sometimes movies and shows and people can pull it off without making it seem so cringy. But I think they kind of failed with that. Right now on Rotten Tomatoes, it has both sides are at a 33%. My God, it's critics hate it, regular audience people hate it. It's seeming like most people are very unhappy. I'll read just a few of the reviews from the audience people. I love Joaquin Phoenix, but oh my God, this movie was so bad. If you suffer from insomnia, this is the perfect medicine to put you to bed right away. Wow, just terrible. Nancy, trash, 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 waste of money. Would have been good if it had not so many musicals. Okay, now from the critic reviews. I'm taken by the audacity of Todd Phillips is engaging with concerns from the first time out and refusing to satisfy fan expectations. Too bad it's so dull. Spencer, the musical performances are underpowered, lacking much movement, personality, or surprise. In fact, the film's problems are so glaring that one can't help but wonder what happened behind the scenes. Another one, Thelma Adams, the joke's on us, promising twice as much star power as the frantic 2020 Oscar competitor Joker. The music sequel Joker is half as entertaining and 3 times more irritating. I mean, they're just ripping it to shreds. People are not happy. They're very disappointed. And I understand that, right? Like I said, I've loved Batman since I was a child. My dad loved Batman, so I watched it literally growing up, and loved it myself. And you get attached to these characters. And when you feel like a character reputation or their likeness is being destroyed, and I think, you get upset, you get emotional, you get angry, because I think in a way fans want to protect the likeness of this character. They may not even think of it that deeply, but that's really what was happening. They want to protect the likeness of this character. They want to preserve it. If you remember, there was a time where they rarely would just throw out the Joker. Right now, Batman, baby, they put him in so many movies, right? But I mean, like, if you put them in outer movies or things like that, it was not a lot of that, because I feel like they really protected those characters. I feel like now, I don't know, I feel like they still probably protect the character, but it just didn't come off right. I don't think I'll even go to see it, because at this point, I really don't want to put that in my mind, and this is where my perspective is coming from. I watched the first one. I really liked it. I would like to stay there. I don't want to remember anything bad. Maybe in a month or two, I'll be bored and need something to watch on TV, and then I'll press play. But until then, I'm not going to watch. But I want to hear what you have to say, so make sure you comment down below. Let me know if you actually went to go see it, are going to go see it, or how you feel in general about the movie. And make sure to like and subscribe. Bye.